and welcome to Aviation Careers Podcast. My name is Carl Valeri, and today we're going to talk about the one rating that holds most people up for moving forward in their career, and also other questions that are actually through our feedback at aviationcareerspodcast.com. First of all, a big shout out. I'm actually here in Aero Center in Lakeland, Florida. We just had this really large hurricane come through, and a big shout out and hats off to all the EMS crews that are here. You might hear a lot of noise in the background. That's because all the helicopters are staged here, along with the National Guard and some of the different turboprops. So if you do hear airplane noise in the background, that's because they're launching all their flights out of here. Just to give you an idea, maybe Rick can put up a map as to where we are compared to the beach. A lot of the beach airports were underwater. They're still not open, so a lot of these folks are having to actually fly from here out to the beach to rescue people. So you have a lot of the ambulances and that type of thing here. So hats off to all those folks, the first responders out there, and what you do. We made it through the storm okay. Not too much damage to the studio. And another reason we're kind of not doing as many podcasts this month is, again, we're just kind of recovering. We have a lot of family who've had some damage and can't actually get back into their homes for the next few weeks. But anyway, let's move on to the topic today. I'm really excited about this because I love the questions and answers. You go to aviationcareerspodcast.com/contact or feedback at aviationcareerspodcast.com and shoot us your questions. Most of these come from that. And there's this one thing that someone asked me the other day, and I had to think about this. What is the one rating that I feel stops most people from progressing in their career? And it's not really what you would think at first. And a lot of people would say, well, it's the commercial single, it's the CFI, that type of thing. But here's what I find is the one rating where most people get stopped in moving forward in their career, and that is the multi-engine commercial certificate. The multi-engine commercial certificate. Let me give you a couple scenarios as to why. I see this play out over the past 20 some odd years. People get a job offer and they don't have their multi-commercial, and they're hustling. They may have a CJO at a regional. They may have a job offer at a air ambulance. They may have a job offer with a corporate. And it's because they did such a great job of networking. Now they're kind of caught up in not having that certificate, and they can't go to training. Actually, interestingly, a lot of times they'll let you go to training in certain places, but like the airlines, they won't. So you need to have that commercial multi. So a couple of scenarios. Again, this happens like at the big schools, the colleges. You get the CJO, you're ready to go. You have a date, a higher date, an actual class date. You can't go to that class date. Why? Because you don't have your multi-commercial done. You get stuck at the back of the line, and they're going to wait till they get other people trained before you do. And remember, everything's all about seniority. The other thing, too, and the other thing that stops people from progressing, and the reason I talk about the multi-commercial first, and I'll give myself as an example too, is that is the thing that you need to build to move on to some of the bigger jobs in this aviation career. If you're going to be a flight instructor for the rest of your career, if you're going to do banner tow, if you're going to do other single engine jobs, then that's not true. But 95% of you should get your multi-engine commercial as fast as you can. Good example. I became a flight instructor. I love teaching. And what happened? Well, I love teaching so much that people actually started coming to me, and I got busy. So I didn't have time to get my multi-engine commercial. And I got job offers to go fly King Airs, to fly a Hawker. I had to say no. I couldn't do them. Not only that, I couldn't do people's instrument ratings because I didn't even have my double I. And this happens not just to me, but to many other people. Now, granted, I was loving what I was doing. I was enjoying the ride. So I went away to get my instrument instructor rating. And I went away to get my multi-engine instructor rating. My instrument instructor rating I had to do on my days off and get away from my students. But my multi-engine commercial and my multi-engine instructor rating, I had to travel, I think it was about 1,000 nautical miles away to Groton, Connecticut. Action Multi-Engine, they're not a sponsor, but shout out to them for what they do. Really good rate. There's a lot of other companies besides them, but that's just where I went. I went away, got my multi-commercial, and got my multi-instructor, and all of a sudden the world opened up. Got all sorts of job offers. So I really highly recommend, if you're going to move forward in a career in aviation where you're going to be flying twin-engine aircraft commercially, that's the rating you should get as quickly as you can. I get it. There's some people that have, don't have the money to do that. But if you're thinking you do not want to be an instructor, say, for the rest of your career, or you don't even want to be an instructor at the beginning of your career, then the next progression is your multi-commercial. Of course, a single engine commercial, then the multi-engine commercial. You can do either or. I think I have a question about that in here somewhere, but it doesn't matter. No, it's not here, but someone asked this. Actually, I'm sorry. Someone asked this over on the group coaching, our mentorship. Does it matter if I get the multi-commercial first or the single-engine commercial? Absolutely not. It doesn't matter. It's just going to help you if you get the multi-engine commercial first, if that's the type of job that you have available. So remember, that's the one thing that really holds people up is that multi-engine commercial. I know I'm going to get a lot of feedback from people saying you're absolutely wrong, but I tell you, I have a lot of people that are in the 200, 300, 400, 500 hour range that are turning down jobs just because they don't have the multi-commercial. And the jobs are out there. I'm so, I'm excited about this environment and what's about to happen with hiring. As you know, I have that group coaching mentorship where we talk about what's going on in the industry and the reason I'm so excited about the future of the industry and hiring. And you can check that out. You can get one a 1 month free access to that with the coupon code Coach It Forward. Go to aviationcareerspodcast.com/coaching, or on the side, just click on Group Coaching Mentorship, and you can get that 1 month free. You have access to all the previous months. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback because we're making it super inexpensive. It's only $20 a month, and you can join or leave anytime you want. You can watch all the past episodes of it, and it's just been absolutely terrific because we have some people have been willing to come on and talk about their experiences, and I did a LinkedIn profile review. Our next group session is actually a mock interview, and I'm going to do a mock interview, and then I'm going to give time for you to ask me the interview questions that you have struggles with, or that you just have a question about. So you can ask those questions there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, get that multi-engine commercial. If that's what you want to do, is go on to the airlines, especially. They're all twin-engine aircraft. But that was a real great question. I really appreciate that. Also, by the way, you can, in some cases, get a scholarship for the multi-engine. And I know a lot of people ask me, well, I'm not 23 years old anymore, I'm 40 or 50. Go to the non-traditional scholarships in our scholarships guide. You can find it there. It's $10 for a year access, and it actually is updated every month. As a matter of fact, our sponsor of this podcast, which is Stratus Financial, they actually are giving away scholarships guides using the coupon code Stratus. The sponsor, Stratus Financial, is a private student lender, and it's for pilots by pilots. They offer financial student loans for pilot training from zero to hero. They really understand your needs, and because they're pilots. And you can find out more at stratus.finance. And again, as a sponsor, we ask all our sponsors to give away scholarships guides and use that coupon code Stratus by going to aviationcareerspodcast.com/free. Whether it's financing your dream of flying or simplifying the process by taking care of your student loans, their efficient, hassle-free funding can connect you to a life of your dreams of becoming a professional pilot sooner than you ever thought possible. So go ahead and visit our sponsor, stratus.finance. Stratus Financial, they're absolutely wonderful people. We've had them on the show, and they're giving away those free scholarships guides. So get a scholarship for that multi-engine rating. Oh, and by the way, not just a multi-engine, you can get scholarships for, what is it? 737 type ratings, 727 type ratings, that kind of thing. So actually 737 and Airbus ratings. There's no 727 type ratings anymore. So make sure you go check that out. So let's move on to the next question that we have, and let's see. It says here, is it a good idea for even possibly getting my private pilot, commercial, and then CFI to start building time? I don't feel like going to an accelerated program only to be dropped due to me not putting in all my effort, as I have maintained a job that pays the bills. I have a school 5 miles away. Any feedback will be helpful. Thank you. First of all, what he's trying to say, just to paint the picture, he's close to a school that has an accelerated program, but he has a full-time job, and he's afraid that he's not going to be able to become an instructor because of the fact that he's not putting in his full efforts. Remember how a lot of these bigger schools say that if you get your rating with us, you're guaranteed a job interview? Job interview, not a job. A lot of people think they mean a job. But that's not true. So a lot of times what's happening is you're getting to the job interview, which is usually like, hey, come on aboard. We love you. But that doesn't happen all the time. As a matter of fact, you're hearing more and more about people that are being dropped from these programs. So just remember that is if you're going to one of those accelerated programs just to get your CFI, you can do that on your own. But yes, the integrated programs or the Part 141, a lot of people, I do work with a lot of folks that are not here in the U.S. The integrated programs are more like the collegiate programs. The 141 programs are usually more expensive. I understand it takes less time for the 141. I get that. But it also can be more expensive than the 61, depending on how you put your curriculum together. Less hours, right? Depends on the individual, too. It could actually take you more hours, depending on the individual. If you're trying to decide what you want to do there, of course, check out our career coaching page, aviationcareerspodcast.com/coaching. You can come to our mentorship program. You can ask the question there based on your specific situation. If it's too personal, we'll do that one-on-one coaching with you. All that information is on our coaching page. But yes, the modular is more flexible. Modular meaning Part 61 for our friends in Great Britain and Canada. Those are the Commonwealth countries. Those are the programs that you do it at your own pace. The great thing about doing it at your own pace, if you have a job, is that you don't have to give up your job. You can take different time off. You can maybe do PTO for a month or take a vacation and do a rating, then go back to work, and you can pay for your rating as you go. And it actually might be best for you. As a matter of fact, in between ratings, you can also build hours by renting or buying a very inexpensive airplane that you can fly for hours, and maybe share the cost with somebody or do it as a rental with an FBO. Do some kind of thing like that. But yes, I think, is it better for you? It sounds like it might be better for you. I don't know. But if from the tone of the question, it probably is better for you to just do it Part 61, part-time, get it done, as long as you commit to getting it done. I mean, it can be very difficult, but you have to have that conversation with your friends and family and say, hey, listen, I'm committed to getting this done. So I want to do the Part 61 or the modular program and get that done one piece at a time. But I'll have it done, I'll have it paid for, and I'll still be able to keep my job without the risk of being turned down at the 141 school I was just at. And so the other question comes in from that, the one I get often, which he didn't ask, is what about like these 141 schools where there's a quote unquote bad reputation for some of these schools as just being puppy mills or pilot mills. And now I get turned down at this 141 school for a job. Then I'm out in the market and there's certain schools that just won't hire me because I'm from that school. It's true. There are some schools that would rather not take people from some of those accelerated programs because those accelerated programs are built more for the airline flying, not so much for the flight school and the instructional realm like you would see in a more personalized environment, say in a more professional or small FBO. So the training's just a little bit different, and some schools don't prefer that. I think it's wrong. You have to really look at the individual and see how good they are. If they're a good instructor, they're a good instructor. It doesn't matter where they came from. So that's the most important part. Anyway, great question. Hope that answered that. So it really is up to you. We'll talk more about that. But go to our group mentorship and we'll talk about it more there. Number 4 says, could an FAA deferral actually be good? Well, yes. Here's a good way to look at it. You should know what to do before you start flight training. And that has to do with your medical. You know, maybe you have a problem with your medical. You need to find out that now before you spend all this money on, you know, your medical and moving forward. It also obviously avoids revocation by the FAA, legal, that type of thing. So there's some things that can happen in your medical if you feel like that you may have made a mistake or you didn't think you needed to disclose something. So that's where a deferral actually can be a good thing as opposed to putting in information that may be false and moving forward. Not that you said that there was anything here, but that does happen every so often. You make a false statement by accident. That can be fixed later. We're going to talk about that in another podcast. But that's why a deferral can actually be a good thing. We just talked about this in our last mentorship about the steps that you need to take before you start your flight training. Number 1 is get your medical or look into getting your medical and seeing if you actually qualify for that medical. So yes, an FAA deferral can actually be a good thing to determine what you need to do moving forward before you start spending money on flight training. So there's a positive way to look at it. The downside is you don't get to fly right away, but it's better to know now, get your ducks in a row, get everything settled, and then move forward. Next question comes in as a more technical thing. Says, how do I view the past group coaching mentorship recordings? And how do I look at the first one or the current one? Just go to aviationcareerspodcast.com/coaching, click on the mentorship, or on the right side of the screen, click on mentorship, sign into your account on our learning platform, and then go to the session that you want to review or watch the previous video. And then if it's for the current meeting, you go to the one for that current meeting. Remember, we record usually at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's New York time here in Florida. And you actually will go on there and see a link. We always put a link in there when we start the session, and that link can be used to get on to that mentorship session. So hopefully that was a good explanation. You do have to sign in to the actual learning software, navigate to the video that you want to watch or the current session you want to join, and then click on the video or click on join the session. I hope that helps. I'm going to put a video together, by the way, to help you out in doing that. Next thing is a comment, and a comment I want to add to and comment on, have a rebuttal, I guess. The comment on aircraft mechanic jobs 2024 with James Spearman is that was the episode. I'll put a link to the YouTube video. You can comment too if you want on the bottom there. It says commercial is starting at 35 plus an hour. There's no money in GA, kids. Now, what that person's alluding to is there's not a lot of money in general aviation as far as being a mechanic. And he's correct. The money is better usually working for a commercial operator, say a corporation. The mechanic jobs can actually pay even better there. That's a very small segment of the population that makes a lot more money being a mechanic at a corporation, like a corporate or business or private aviation. But the big money, as far as numbers of people being hired that make a lot of money, is the airlines, of course. I get that. But there's another thing you have to do. You have to go out and decide what's best for you. Maybe they're taking that job because of the fact that they really want to be home every night. So there's more to life than just the money. And if you want to be a mechanic, and if you want to stay at home and you want to work on general aviation aircraft, then you're going to have to realize that the pay is not going to be as much, but you will be home every night. It's just like the decisions we make about any flying job. You know, there are certain jobs that pay better, like flying for the majors, like I do as a captain flying for a major airline. But you know, sometimes I'm gone for a long time. All depends. You know, it's and the different jobs are better at keeping you home more. So that's why you have to get a little more granular on your job search and what career direction you want to go into. But give it a shot. If you want to be a mechanic, try it out. And if you feel that the GA world wasn't good for you, it's better to find that out early and then maybe try to move on to a different job in the mechanic world. But I would never tell anybody not to do a job just because of the pay not being that terrific, especially in the beginning in the general aviation world. Because if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. So that's really important to realize that everybody has different things in their lives that are important and different priorities. And I would never demean anybody or anybody's job, no matter what they're doing in the world of aviation or in the world in general. I think everybody's job is incredibly important. So you need to do what you want to do and what will bring you fulfillment, and also put money on the table. And that's important, or put food on the table, excuse me. So those are the kind of things you weigh out, and that's what we talk about in our coaching. Speaking of which, our monthly group coaching session, October 30th, 2024 at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to watch the past ones, just sign up. Use the coupon code COACHITFORWARD if you want to join us for 1 month for free. Then it starts charging you that $20 a month. Again, I made it so inexpensive comprehensive so that everybody can join. This is something that's good for everybody, whether you're in the military, you're looking at private aviation. I love the interaction. And guys, you're giving me some really tough questions, so I really enjoy that during the coaching sessions. A little more real. And I'll apologize. I don't have, it's live. So sometimes my Jersey comes out of me. I'm from New Jersey, and sometimes I say things I shouldn't. Obviously on the recordings here, I can delete those silly comments that I make. I normally don't, but every so often I screw up, and that's what happens on those live sessions. So if you want to see me do some, what happens when I actually screw up live, you'll see what happens there. Anyway, and if you have questions, aviationcareerspodcast.com/contact. If you want one of those free scholarships guides, go to aviationcareerspodcast.com/free. Use that coupon code Stratus. Also, we would love to see you at some of the different air shows. Remember, Stuck Mike Avcast. Go check out that other podcast. It's on YouTube. Please subscribe to that because we go more into learning to fly, living to fly, loving to fly. It really is very interesting in some of the topics we talk about. There's some things there that you will use for the rest of your life. Some people call it free instruction. Of course, your instructor is most important, but that is a lot of fun on Stuck Mike Avcast. But the most important thing that you can do for me today is when you stop this video, when you actually turn the off on the audio right now, if you're on whatever, iTunes, etc., and I want you to think about what you could do right now to help you move forward in your career. Take action today. Say you want to look at a podcast or read a book. Think about your next career choice. Think about becoming a mechanic. Think about those things that are going to help you progress. And then take action. Do something today to move forward in your career and in your life. And by doing that, taking action every single day, you'll get to your career goal faster than you can ever imagine. Well, I really appreciate your talking to me today or listening to me today. It's been wonderful. Again, hats off to all those first responders and all the help they do here. It's really packed here with all the helicopters and things like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go shoot some video. Hopefully, Rick can put some of that video over the end of this. And I really appreciate what they do for us, all those EMS crews and those helicopters out there. I know they risk their lives to save other lives. And that's another thing that you can look at as a career. But anyway, I really appreciate your listening. And don't forget to take one step today to move forward in your career and in your life.